This meeting is being live streamed. It's kind of humid in here. It's kind of a rainy day outside, but how does that end up permeating inside of a house? All right. And live on TikTok. Got that set up. So Qubit, yeah, no, I'm not interested. All right, over here, AVGR. Yeah, the entry on AVGR is already past us. There's 848, 850. Hard to recommend to get in now unless you're an HFT trader. Because, I mean, this would be an entry point for an HFT trader. You're talking about, scalping, basically. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing else this morning too crazy. Just AVGR. That's what we're watching. Next to that could be, I already looked at Qubit. No go on that. APLS with low RVol. That's it. AVGR. Okay, let's take a look at the market. Mark says, hoping AVGR will rip at market open. Well, you don't have to hope. I mean, every day it's a different something else. Just place your trade, and it either works or doesn't. Let's see here. IGT. Let's look at the market. That'll be over here. All right, some interesting thing that I noticed this morning, but let's just go over the cues first, and then I'll show you. Yesterday failed by the close to really make it out as a reclaim day. Just not enough strength for a bit of follow through today, and so maybe not coincidentally, we are now opening towards the low end of yesterday's range and plummeting, I might add. Tomorrow afternoon rather, at 2 p.m. is the Fed interest rate decision. That'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And because of that, yesterday we saw low volume on the market because no one really wants to commit before getting in front of the train. No one wants to get in front of the train quite yet. I want to know which way the train's going first before they lay on the train tracks. And then today, I expect it to be lower volume than yesterday. But it can depend on whether or not there's more or less catalysts going on today in the markets than yesterday. But I think overall, we'll probably see a below average volume day today. Unless it's sell off, there could be a panic sell off, and that could result in higher volume. But either way, we're probably not going up. And then tomorrow, we'll see almost paralyzing volume. There's very little volume tomorrow before the Fed interest rate decision. Everything will dry up, and then Fed decision will come out, and the market will be able to start to act on the information and rotate accordingly. Another thing that's very interesting is Oil has moved from $77 to $92 straight for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. And in fact, I'm sorry, actually $67 over the last 3 months, last 2 months since August. $67 to $92. That increase, that's a 37% increase that you're going to see at the pump, trailing by about a month. So these prices at the pump are going to be going up and up and up. I don't know what they are around your area, but expect higher prices for the next 3 months, according to this, and at minimum. But of course, also that implies that there's some inflation going on. And so then we jump over to the 30-year. Oh, sorry, I didn't put that up on the other screen. So here's oil making its move crazy. And then the 30-year, which we're watching, in the 10-year, various ones, but we're invested in the 30-year, is right at breakout point, which is crazy also. So some crazy stuff going on with inflation right now. And depending on how you're invested, you may want to hedge for a possible breakout of inflation. 30-year rates are right now about 4.5%. 4.4%, but the roughly 4.5%, and that's the highs. If it breaks out, we could be talking about 5 and 5.5% on the next run if it were to break out. So that would also be enough to really tank the market. We're not talking about crashes here. We're not talking about anything apocalyptic, but we could be talking about a deeper pullback than we were, previously talking about. The W, the second leg in the W that I've been referring to, could end up being an undercutting leg in the W, and that would be. Let's take another look at that. So, you can see that we're forming a left side of a W so far on this pullback. We could be talking about a deeper pullback, an undercut. Not sure how much. That's if we break out. These areas also can act as very strong resistance levels, so we can do the opposite as well. Over on some of the platforms that I broadcast on, I'm drawing the W right now and what it could be, but we could see something like this. And it would still adhere to my prediction, but just barely. It definitely makes it more difficult happen. So if the Fed is hawkish tomorrow and decides that it's going to talk strongly about the potential of raising rates, I think that we're going to see some deeper correction in the market. Now, if he doesn't, then what the hell is going on with inflation and oil and energy and rates right now? So I think there's a bit of an asymmetric trade setting up to the downside on the market and the upside on rates. Tomorrow will be very interesting. All right, we're watching also today. If there's any opportunities, they're probably very slim because it's a low volume day due to nobody wants to really commit to anything before the Fed releases their information tomorrow at 2 p.m. So yesterday was low volume. Today I expect low volume as well. Could be lower. If things worked out perfectly, it would be lower. And then tomorrow even lower still. But because of that, there's very little popping on the market right now. And even if it is popping, it's probably crap. So it's not something that you would necessarily swing trade, but you might be able to day trade something. AVGR is what we're watching primarily. AVGR has the best specs under the hood. It's a micro float, typically very low volume. So once the interest on this from external parties is over, there's no real investors left to support anything that the external parties traded. So in other words, we're looking at it's like we have enough fleas to cover a dog on a walnut, and they're all over the walnut, and pretty soon there won't be much there for the fleas to enjoy. And so the fleas are going to run off and scatter off, and the walnuts, it's just a walnut. It ain't nothing. It ain't much. Yes, RJ. And normally, because day traders and are like the fleas on a dog, and the dog is the actual investment. And day traders are like the fleas on the dogs. And then you get newbies coming in and doing like meme trading and stuff like that. Those are like the parasites on the fleas. Those are like the bacteria and parasites on the fleas on the dog. So, hey, to each their own. Everybody's got a life to live, including bacteria. But the market today is going to be pretty lackluster, and it's looking like it's going to be tending to the downside. Well, we'll see how it goes. It's always very interesting. That you can't predict everything perfectly, so we actually have to see how it goes and see what transpires here, what transpires tomorrow, and the Fed decision, and then what transpires because of that, and then the follow through on Thursday, and how we close the week on Friday. So it's a very kind of key week here. It will set us up for the next 30 days, if not more. So it's good to watch. Great to be in the stands watching. Not so great to be out in the field walking through mines, thinking it's safe, that you're going to be safe. Yeah, I'd rather be in the stands on that one. This isn't a time to be a hero because there's really no reason to be. Might as well just watch. But some people are crazy enough to get out there and blow themselves up for us. So we're going to watch. And maybe we can make some money on it. Fine. What are you going to do? It's nature. Nature is cruel. What can I say? You know how wolves eat gazelles and deer together until it's dead? In other words, nature's a bitch, man. So if anybody who thinks that things should be more humane hasn't met nature. The gazelle, they bleed out, and they, while they're getting their limbs torn off. And this is happening right now. Like right now, right around, I'm talking, it's on a daily basis, through nature, throughout the entire world. And, so welcome to the stock market, the human manifestation of nature. Let's go. I'm going to stay in the stands today. Thank you very much. I'm not going to be a gazelle. And if I'm a wolf, I'm going to wait for a more plentiful moment. And I'll just stay in my den. Thank you very much. All right, 2 minutes until the market opens. And it is indicating like it's going to open down. A lot of pressure. Sometimes when that happens, though, it gets bought up because, big money finds it to be a buy-in point whenever the market dips, if it's a bull market and they are bullish. So, it comes in from both ways. AVGR, what are you going to do when the market opens? We shall see. Mark, you are green already? You are already in it from yesterday? Some people would be. It had a very high volume day yesterday, but the thing was it closed really weak, and it was split recently. And so it's a pretty trashy stock. So it's hard to put money in it overnight. But yeah, worthwhile for day trading perhaps. And here it goes. The market's going to open in 1 minute and 10 seconds. Just out of the base, it moved from $7 to almost $10. Just during this active trading period, it moved whatever that is, 40% almost. So there's a lot of potential. The ADR on it yesterday was 50%. I don't know what the volume is pre-market on AVGR. Let me see. Okay, it's only 100% RVOL. So today's a much slower day than yesterday also. Yesterday was thousands of percent RVOL. Today only projected to be about 300% RVOL. So that's a huge decrease in liquidity since yesterday. Well, it probably means it's over, but it is a micro float. So kind of anything can happen if all eyes go on it. And today there's really nothing else to trade. So maybe it will. Maybe it'll pop. Let's see. Here comes the open. It's 5 seconds away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, AVGR is moving up at the open. 970 would be a pivot breakout. If you wait for the first 60 seconds, then you'd be looking for a breakout of that high, first 60-second high, 1 minute high. Okay, it's starting to pull back. Meanwhile, the market actually is bleeding. Okay, AVGR back up again. Some momentum here. Coming up on the 1 minute. Right now is 1 minute, and that was the breakout level. So that 980 is the level to enter at. 981 if it gets hit. It's almost there. Some of you may already be in, either on a pullback basis or on a pre-market shelf breakout basis. But 1 minute opening range traders, you should be waiting for 981 break. There it is. Boom. That's an entry for 1 minute opening range breakout traders for this style of momentum. So I hit 980, and then you would risk to the low of the day, which is since market open, not the low of pre-market. But something like let's see here, 870, and boom, it just moved even more. It's at $10 now, touching $10. A lot of resistance there apparently. Couldn't get through it. Oof. All right, I'm going to exit Nikola. Nikola's going stupid bleed out mode. So AVGR couldn't crack 10, but with your stop at 670, roughly 870 is probably a good spot for it. Then you have some oscillation, some wiggle room here. Yeah, Nikola bleeding out, dropping like a ton of bricks. Oil's actually pulling back, so are rates. But the market's falling at the same time. The only thing really going up is financials. Yeah, that seems to be about it. Financials going up. That's about it. And not even rates. It wasn't for that. Yeah. And it probably is. I would say that today is going to be a lowering tide day. Indications already at the open here, therefore, are for a day of grinding down. These are the days that usually just, when it's so broad like this, every sector moving in synchronization. These are days where you have a broad movement all day long sell off is what's being indicated right now, but that could change within the next 30 minutes. CNXA is moving, says one of our members. CNXA. Definitely an alley stock. Pretty scraggly chart. Kind of a terrible chart. But now with all the new increased liquidity going in today, it might be able to sustain, fleas trading money back and forth. So the liquidity is there today. Are you a flea? It's so funny. I was just going to ask that, and RJ wrote, "I'm a flea, baby. I'm a flea." Yeah, that's funny. I'm a flea right now. Yeah. I'm bacteria trying to steal some resources from other bacteria on a flea, on a dog in the world. I'm a flea, baby. All right, CNXA is about to break out, it looks like, of pre-market highs. Well, meanwhile, AVGR has pulled back significantly, basically almost to the stop. 870 is nearby. It's at 9. It hit 9. From 10, it fell to 9. I mean, that's got to hurt. There goes CNXA. What do I do for fun? I live in the Bahamas. Trading aside, what I do for fun, basically everything that you would find in heaven, I do for fun. And I do some things that you'd find in hell, too. Unfortunately. Sorry, God. Oh, that's good. But I have the opportunity to do everything you would do in heaven available to me here. And I do. And like yesterday, I went to the beach, and it was just phenomenal. Had some chicken tacos. What did they call that? Oh, it was a really good drink. And some watermelon, some nice cold fresh watermelon at the beach. Pretty much a unknown beach here. Well, so what's that? You trade once in a while? I trade when the market says it to be a good time to trade. In my 25 years of experience, I don't trade when the market says it's not a good time to trade. And there's all kinds of styles of trading available out there for you. There's high frequency trading, scalping, and day trading, swing trading. and investing. And then in every kind of asset class you can imagine, from bonds and stocks, and then industries like AI lately. There's lots of ways to make money out there. But, I find it, in my experience, to be best to wait until the market conditions are best for swing trading. That has created the most success on the markets. The most successful traders, the most successful hedge funds, the most successful funds are the ones that swing trade, and macro as well. So that's where the biggest returns are. And so, and in a bull market, that's where you want to be focusing. Yeah. What was I going to say here? Okay. I need to look at AMPX to see what's going on there. One of our holdings. And it's basically at the stop out point. Do I have a stop on there? I do. And it's set for 399. Oh, I got plenty of ways to go there on that. But I'm not liking this action much at all, but I'll give it a little bit more room. The market itself has gone sideways. Let me see what if the projections can tell us anything about volume yet. It's a little early. Yeah, the projected volume right now seems to be within my prognosis, which is to be similar to yesterday and below average. That's exactly what I'm seeing here. It's projected to be slightly above yesterday's volume by the end of the day. But I think that's going to come down as the accuracy comes up, as we put in more time today. Because we're now dojiing. We're not going sideways. If we started to panic sell off, then yeah, I'd see that, maybe we'd have an above average sell volume day today. I think we're going to end up having a lower volume sell off day today than we did yesterday, even. And then tomorrow, very low volume until 2 p.m. The Fed releases their decision. And then you'll see a huge pickup on volume. And so looking back, that day will look like a high volume day. But it won't have been, because up to that point, it'll have been so dry. That's something you can't really measure going through historical charts. Is the volume you can expect to 2 p.m. Fed release, on the Fed release day. It's typically very low. All right, AVGR is just holding. Our Apple trade is rebounding after selling off in pre-market a little. Good. And Onvo and 4 are hanging in there. I might let LTRX go. It just doesn't want to do anything. It's tying up my capital. When did you know trading was your thing in the past 25 plus years? That's a good question. Probably my whole life, since I began when I was 8, when my mother got me into it, just because I had so much interest in it and so much passion for it. So much interest in understanding the numbers, understanding the patterns, eventually understanding finance, understanding, it's like, I don't know. I just have a strong interest in systems that sort of the predicting systems. And then, the concept that you can make money at it and that it's a whole money making machine, just, excites my genetic aptitude, because I am not person that just lays down and looks for a handout. I'm all for getting out there and bringing home the bacon. So that just really activates me. Good question. AVGR apparently is rebounding now. Yes, okay, all right. But could it become a failed retest neckline breakdown? Yes, it could. Watch the volume in order to get a sense for whether or not this is more, the same, or less than the last push. Looking like kind of par on par so far for the amount that it's moved. We call that on balance volume. And now actually it's more volume than it was before, so it's probably going to break out. And there it is. It hit 10 and then bounced right back. But I do believe the momentum had built. So is it enough? It should be. This is a micro float. There really should not be enough resistance. And boom, there it is. It broke out of the 10 level and hit 1023 almost instantly. All right. And 1033 now. So 10's over with. That level has been blasted through. Things are moving now. Where do I say I live? And what are the taxes like? Bahamas, and I only recently moved here, but the taxes are favorable, super favorable. There's no income tax here. Of course, if you're a United States citizen, you still have to pay income tax, but you do get an exemption on money that you make out of the country of about $108,000 per year. But you still have to claim it. You have to claim your foreign income and report it, is what I'm saying. But they'll exempt you for $108,000 of income per year made in a foreign country. So that's a nice exemption. And then there's all kinds of tax advantages to living in a tax advantaged country for sure. All right, we are 15 minutes into the trading day. And let me see the market again. Yeah. Total doji day, low volume, and the projections are now low volume by end of the day. Now I have that gray bar right there. That's the projection. That's like the invisible void projected end of day volume level based on how volume has transpired so far, and then forecasted out to the end of the day on days where you have volume that are at this level by this time. So it looks like I'm right again. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, if any of you out there are interested in learning more about trading, click the link in my bio. I have a couple of resources there. Okay, AVGR coming back up into 10 after pulling back after that spike, which looks like essentially a fake out, but it was on high volume, so I kind of trust it. AVGR. Ooh, CNXA is coming back up to the highs. and it's held up pretty well. So it's kind of a high tight flagging type of intraday move there on CNXA. We could see, looks like maybe 25 cents easily if it breaks out again. CNXA. A loot never really happened, by the way. That was another one we were watching. AVGR, top of the list. Talk, we were talking about that earlier. Let's see. Wow, Talk really ran from the open. Like, are you kidding me? Went from $1.80 to 210. That's pretty strong move. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's only 17%. Looks a lot bigger and badder ass than it really is. 17% still pretty damn good, though. All right, there goes AVGR for some new highs. 1055. The ADR yesterday was, I think that was the one, 50%. No, yeah, I think so. I'm not sure, but the ADR is typically 13% on AVGR, and today it's already putting in 21% range just from the open, just on the market. All right, everybody, I think that's pretty much puts us in the right place here. Fed is going to be a very interesting day trading tomorrow. But today's very light volume. And CNXA and AVGR is what we're going to have to keep up on in our group. If you haven't yet, make sure you join our group. Just click the link in my bio to get somewhere, or in the comment section, or wherever it is. All right. Have a good one, and we'll see you in the group. Let's continue in there. 25 cents on CNXA. I take some. You'd have to take. You could learn my high frequency ladder trading setup technique strategy, in which case you don't really take profits at one single point. You take profits at multiple points. All right. All right, guys. See you in the group. Comedy.